What is going on, everybody? I am John Rettinger from Techno Buffalo. We did a video earlier where I listed my favorite apps for iOS, and I am back with the follow-up to that, my favorite apps for Android. Before I jump in, I want to thank our sponsor LastPass for making videos like this and content on the channel possible. I hope you support them like you support us. Chances are you're probably already familiar with LastPass. They are the best password management options available anywhere on the internet, with apps across desktop, for mobile, for iOS and Android, and an awesome Chrome extension as well. If you got a password like stuck to your monitor or using password 1234, you are in serious danger and it's time to modernize, and LastPass can make everything just a lot easier for you. They've totally gotten rid of the trouble of looking for passwords and kind of the anxiety around getting locked out of accounts. With LastPass, you don't have to write or remember or even worry about resetting any passwords every time you want to log in. They keep track of all your passwords so you can just stay normal and sane and focus on whatever it is you want to do. And because it's your passwords, you want to make sure they're safe. The vault is safe. LastPass themselves never have access to any of your password information. You can also set up two-factor authentication on your account as well, which I think is probably just a good rule of thumb. Listen, at the end of the day, it boils down to making your life easier and making your information safer. Two things that I am all about: easier and safer. If you're not using LastPass, if you're still remembering your passwords, you're using the same password for everything, it's time to get smart, it's time to modernize. Check out LastPass, you're really gonna like it. There's a free and a premium version as well. So I wanna give a big thank you to LastPass for supporting Techno Buffalo, supporting the channel, and sponsoring this video, allowing us to make good content. If you care about security and keeping your passwords and info safe, and you should, check out LastPass. We'll link to them down below, let you download the apps anywhere you want. So most of the time in my car, I spend either listening to audiobooks or podcasts. I like my talk radio, and I'm always looking for a new and better podcast app, but I keep coming back to the classic, especially on Android, and it's Google's podcast app. This might seem like an obvious thing, but a lot of people are in love with their third-party podcast app. You should try what Google has to offer. It's got a really clean design. You can subscribe to podcasts you want to stay up to date on, all from in the app. And also it'll sync between devices, so you don't really lose your place at all. And probably one of my favorite things, it'll give me recommendations so I can pick up new podcasts maybe I didn't know before. So you can always stay up to date on my sports teams, which is sadly mostly all that I listen to. We get a lot of packages here at Techno Buffalo, and keeping track of what I've got coming, what I've got going, and when it's arriving is important. So a good package tracking app, something that I always have on my phone. And I've started liking Parcel Track more recently. There's a free version, there's a $2.99 premium version as well, so you can try it, decide if you want to pay for the premium features. But it does exactly what you'd expect, except it does it really well. So first, it works with all major carriers. Obviously, you need that to function. You get push notifications for status updates, a dedicated email address so you can forward delivery emails so they're always automatically added to the app. That's really helpful. You don't have to manually put in tracking numbers. Just forward an email and you're good to go. And listen, this next one, you guys might make fun of me for it, but I use it all the time, and you should too if you're not. It's Android Auto. Perhaps the best feature of Android Auto is you don't need an Android Auto capable head unit. You can use it right on your phone, and it makes life way easier. Waze is my bae, and I love the fact that I can use it anywhere I go in a way that's easy for me in the car. I see the information at a glance. If you have a head unit that works with Android Auto, then this is gonna be even better for you. So I think one of the coolest features probably is that you can set it to launch when it pairs with your car's Bluetooth. So automatically will go into Android Auto. It gives you big buttons, big strike points. You're not kind of fiddling with your phone and making driving unsafe. Reply to messages, get access to Google Assistant. It's really helpful, and I'm using it much more than I thought. And I love Android Auto so much. That's one of the reasons I've been using Android devices much more recently. When it comes to Twitter, there aren't that many third-party apps that are still working, but Talon. Talon's my jam, and I've been loving Talon for a real long time, and it boils down to two words. And I'm a sucker for night mode. It's got it works well. I like the UI, it's easy to use. You get custom pages for what you want to see, so you want to track different topics, which is kind of why I like it. I can track entertainment, I can track sports, I can track tech. Just makes things easy for me to use. So Talon's what I go to for Twitter. So perhaps the best icon of all these apps is Boost for Reddit. If you're big into Reddit and you know what time the narwhal bacons, This is the app that you want to try, and like all of these, it's a really clean design. I like the customizable interface with different themes or colors. You get different subreddit view modes, content filters, and it makes browsing Reddit easy. And I find myself wasting way more time on the Reddit dad jokes threads than perhaps is good for me and good for my wife. Now when I tell jokes, my kids just look at me and go, wah, wah, which is sadly not a joke. But if you're big into Reddit, it's an app you should absolutely check out. So this is a bit awkward. I wanted to put a weather app in here, and I picked Weather Timeline because I love it. And then while we were editing, the developer was like, peace out. We're not gonna be developing it, supporting it. In fact, we're gonna pull it from Google Play. So let me tell you about Dark Sky. So there is a free version, which is pretty full featured. I've opted to pay $2.99 a year for the full complete version because I like to support the developer, and I get that paying for a weather app, maybe not your jam, but if you decide that you want to opt for it, you're gonna get some really incredible, awesome features. So obviously a lot of weather apps will give you local weather in your city, but Dark Sky is gonna give you the weather like down to your street, which is pretty awesome. Sometimes there are microclimates, and if you move, temperatures change. Now you know if you should wear a t-shirt or a sweatshirt. It also gives you all the other information you'd expect and want, like rain, humidity, and the heat index. You get notifications too if it's gonna rain, so that's helpful. You can add temperature to your status bar. It's got some pretty awesome widgets, and it looks really good. So again, you wanna support the developer, you can. There's a free version if you choose not to. It's all pretty good. I like my weather apps, they're important to me, and I think that you should give it a shot. So I want to pick my favorite apps. I've got a ton more flashy apps I could pick, but these are the apps that I use day in and day out. And chances are you probably know about a lot of these. Maybe they're already on your phone. Perhaps you're not using them as often as you should. And I think these are my favorite apps that I just use all the time. So I wanted to share them with you. But what are your favorite apps? You got to pick your 5 apps that you go to all the time. Even if it's things like Messages or Chrome. It can be simple. There's no harm in those apps that you use all the time. I'd like to know. Leave in the comments down below to let us know. Until next time, I am John Rettinger from Techno Buffalo.